Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to
The boys, this Jew Haknyeon ruined his career over one night in Tokyo.
Hi
Sounds
guys,
like a
the
movie.
BOYZ Jew Haknyeon got kicked out for dating an ex-adult film actress. Things were already shaky for the boys with recent dating and partying controversies swirling around the group. But this just blew the whole building down. On June 18, 2025, Korean media reported that Jew Haknyeon was caught dating in Tokyo with none other than Asuka Kurara, a former Japanese adult film actress. Sounds like tabloid bait at first, but the details only made it worse.
so
The
caught
story,
dating.
originally published by a Japanese outlet,
Well, call it dating. I think she just means that they were on a date.
claimed that on May 29th, Joo Haknyeon and the actress met up at a bar with a few acquaintances, got cozy, like hugging and her chin on his shoulder type of cozy, and drank the night away. That's already a PR disaster when your image is Mr. Virgin Idol. But things got darker fast. At first, these were just rumors, no statement from Joo Haknyeon, no denial, silence. But behind the scenes, his agency 100 was already scrambling. The Japanese outlet reportedly contacted the agency before dropping the story, and 100 confirmed the facts directly with Haknyeon. He didn't even deny meeting her. So while the public still thought it was gossip, his team already knew the Tokyo meetup was real. June 16th, 2 days before the scandal broke, 100 randomly announces that Joo Haknyeon is going on a temporary hiatus due to personal reasons. Fans were confused but chalked it up to stress or maybe family stuff. Some noticed his strange mood at a Japanese fan meeting. No one knew it.
The label? Yeah, well, Korea is a very conservative society, so that's what you get.
Was actually a soft launch exit plan before everything exploded. Then just hours before the scandal dropped, Haknyeon logged into a fan messaging app and left some weird
What scandal? I don't know if you can call this a scandal. Like a guy went on a date, like it's a scandal because a guy is dating? Like that's a fucking scandal? Just come on.
cryptic messages like, "I've really been wanting to say this," followed by "Thank you so much for just liking me for who I am." Fans thought it was odd. In hindsight, it was a pre-scandal farewell letter, and when the story hit, it hit hard. June 18th became D-Day. The report broke wide in Korea, then spread internationally.
The message.
No, I think this
That's
is
what she said?
what he posted on like the Bubble Weverse, whatever. The
To-
fan app. I think that's what the guy posted on the fan app to the fans.
What did he say again? Let me listen.
Weird cryptic messages like, "I've really been wanting to say this," followed by "Thank you so much for just liking me for who I am." Fans thought it was odd. In hindsight, it was a pre-scandal farewell letter, and when the story hit, it hit hard. June 18th became D-Day. The report broke wide in Korea, then spread internationally. An idol scene cuddled up in Tokyo with a former adult star 10 years older? That's all anyone needed for mass meltdown. Even mainstream outlets outside K-pop picked it up. The taboo alone could have ended his career, but that wasn't even the worst part. Later that same day, 100 dropped the guillotine. Joo Haknyeon is out of the BOYZ, contract terminated, done. Their statement didn't name the actress directly, but they vaguely mentioned issues
Did he
involving
want
private
out?
life and a
It seemed like he wanted out.
No. I don't think so. I think they kicked him out for that. I don't think he wanted out. We didn't get no indicators that he wants to go out.
But initially, I thought that he didn't know about her past, but it seems like he did know.
Doesn't matter if he knew or not. That's not.
Yeah, but the thing is that
What does that have to do with anything?
yeah, but you know what you should know the context that you're in. You okay?
I mean, if
You're
you knew the
not-
context he's in, yeah, sure.
so you have to understand that there's gonna be consequences for your actions. That's why they put like little notes in sandwiches and pass on like sandwiches. There's a reason for that because just any like small communication. I'm not agreeing with that for it being a problem, but the space you're at. You should move better.
Yeah, heart don't listen to the brain. That's not how it works.
He wasn't thinking logically.
controversial incident they had thoroughly investigated, which translate to, he did something so bad even the company couldn't defend it. Then the media stepped in with the real tea and it turned from messy to criminal. According to Tenasia's report, this wasn't just some
Criminal?
late-night drunken hangout. Allegedly, Joo Haknyeon paid the actress for services that night. Yeah, we're talking full-blown selling love allegations. Tenasia cited multiple insiders claiming he shelled out cash for explicit services. And here's where it gets worse. He didn't
How
act
they
alone.
know?
Another
They
producer
don't.
from his company, who also got fired recently, was reportedly involved. Let's pause there. Not only did an idol allegedly pay a former adult star for bedroom services in a foreign country, but a staff member might have been in on it too. That's not scandal, it's a systemic rot. And this producer? Fans immediately suspected MC Mong, the company co-founder and former The Boys producer who was booted on 6 days ago under the vague excuse of personal reasons. Now that suspicious
Maybe
timing,
he
back to Joo
kinda-
Haknyeon. At first,
Tried to save himself by throwing him under the rug too, saying, well, I have something, maybe this can help me,
Who?
the producer, the staff member.
So you're saying the staff member through
I think
Joo
so.
Haknyeon?
Yeah, like how can they know like any money
Could
was
be.
exchanged?
Could be.
Someone had to flip.
Well, money was allegedly exchanged. We don't know that for a fact.
He denied the paying for services part, but after 100 confronted him with clear evidence, which could have been messages, receipts, photos, who knows, he admitted it, that confession sealed his fate. Under Korean law, paying or getting paid for explicit services is illegal for citizens even overseas. If found guilty, he could face up to 1 year in prison or a fine of around $2,000. So this wasn't just a scandal, it was illegal.
Yeah, he wasn't thinking. He's probably thinking, I'm in Japan, I'm on vacation, and you stop using your brain and just start listening to having fun, your inhibitions.
Liability. That's why 100 cut ties immediately. It wasn't about values or image, they were protecting themselves from getting dragged into court with him. What's wild is that the company never actually used the word selling love publicly. They kept it vague on purpose. Private life issues, controversial behavior, etc. But insiders filled in the blanks and the media ran with it. And let's be real, if they weren't confident in the claims, they wouldn't have torched one of their main moneymakers on the spot. This wasn't a maybe, this was them seeing the evidence and going, yeah, we can't save you. Public reaction? Brutal. At first, fans were upset. Some felt the agency moved too fast, too harsh. But once the paid services angle came out, any sympathy left the building. On Korean forums, people were disgusted, saying he humiliated the group and fandom. Internationally, the tone was mixed. Some fans were heartbroken, but even they
He humiliated the fandom. What the fuck does that have to do with fandom? His actions do not reflect on fandom. He does what he's a grown ass man. Does what he wants. What the
I remember
fuck?
in the comments, a lot of people didn't like women having the opportunity to like sell their bodies if it was their choice.
I don't know what right they have to tell women what to do with their bodies. I don't. That's just mind-boggling.
I also think, on the other hand of that too, they don't support men using these type of services too, or they don't support this behavior overall. Period. So
How is this behavior different than paying for a date? It's the same thing.
Paying for a date?
Yeah, you
what
go.
Do you mean paying for a date? Who pay for a date?
No, just overall, like nobody. You don't have sex for free. It just don't work like that in life.
What do you mean? Huh?
No, like to have sex, you have to. As a man, you have to pay. Whether it's pay woman in cash or you just take her out like on a first date, pay like expensive dinner, like the expensive date. You don't give her cash, but you take on an experience that costs cash. Bless you. It's the same thing. Like
the thing is
it's
that
not free.
This is people not thinking like that. That's people thinking that it was a service. She would have not done it otherwise.
Oh, some women just do it for free dinner.
No,
like
but also even if it wasn't paid, the fact that she's older too is another, social not a social norm, or it's not
her
acceptable.
age don't matter. Like to me, this is just so ridiculous. The whole situation is just ridiculous.
For you, it's just in that culture, in that context.
I get the context. I understand the context. I understand why the label did what they did. I get it, but it's just we sitting here in the grown people's business, what they're doing in their bedrooms. Why the fuck do we care? Like,
it's not about us. It's about observing what's going on.
Okay, why the fuck do people in Korea care? What does that have to do with that?
The question is, if you know that's the vibes, why would you do that in the first place? Like, why would you sacrifice? Like, you train. Like, the training is not easy.
No, the guy,
you invest so much money
you know,
into being this. What are the odds you gonna be an idol? Now you just throw it away because you wanted to have relations with a lady that's was an ex adult entertainer.
There's a lot of different
she's 10 years older than
here.
you, and then also you're in a foreign country too as well.
Yeah, but there's multiple different scenarios that
and you're breaking laws allegedly.
It's one, he was drunk and horny and the lady was there and
they say allegedly he was breaking the law.
Okay, I get it. The law, what is the law? The law is nothing.
The law,
it's arbitrary.
Is there.
I get it. You don't at that moment you don't think. That's what I'm telling you.
Listen, when Americans go to Jamaica, they think, oh, that's the time they couldn't smoke. You're gonna go straight to jail and you're gonna be crying for the United States Embassy to bail you out, and they will let you sit there because you need to follow rules in people's country. You don't go to people's country thinking you can do what you want.
So first of all, it's not Japanese law, it's Korean law. The way the laws work in Korea,
I don't care. The point is the law. The law.
Korean laws, Korean citizens have to abide by their laws in any country. So even if the Korean went to Vegas where prostitution is legal and they paid, he could still go to prison in Korea because in Korea it's illegal.
And the thing is,
so
you should know that.
And okay, I'm not arguing.
Unless you want to give up your Korean citizen, then give it up.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that at that moment, he was one horny, drunk. He wasn't thinking.
Uh,
He was just like, come on,
you're
come
telling
on.
me,
Drunk
you're
people
telling
do
me,
this all the
no, you're
time.
telling
It's
me, oh, the cop pull you over. I didn't mean to speak. I
no,
didn't
I'm not
mean to
saying he didn't mean
crash.
to. He meant to do it.
So
It's
what's
just
the
wasn't
excuse?
thinking. He didn't
Okay, that's
care
his
about the
problem.
repercussions.
That's his problem.
Okay,
That's
that's
his
fair. That's his
problem.
problem. Yes, but
So
I'm just
that's
saying he didn't. One, two, maybe he had the biggest crush on her. Like he watched
okay.
her movies from back in the day, and that was like his
So you
life
telling
goal
me
to
he
sleep
didn't know
with
the
her.
risk? You didn't know the
He
risk?
knew the risk. He didn't care.
Okay, so
But so I'm just
why we
saying,
have any pity for him?
I don't, I don't have no pity. I just don't see the guy did anything wrong.
The company care about protecting their money, their assets. They say, "Wow, you did this. Now we have to kind of deal with this as smooth as possible
Yes, this is
and
what
move
it is. The
forward."
guy, I don't. To me, he didn't do nothing wrong, but
Mm.
he got the,
To
as
you, you think he did nothing wrong? You
no,
should have told him. You should have act smarter. Like you should have known where you're
you
at.
know, for
Otherwise, give up
okay,
your citizenship.
why are we assuming that maybe he was over being K-pop idol?
Okay.
Why are
Did he
we
say
assuming
that?
that he wanted? Well,
Did he say that?
he didn't want to throw the label under the bus either, so he's
Uh,
just like,
so
what,
he
like,
self sabotage? Then okay, that's
because
why.
look at for New Jeans how hard it is to get from the label. Maybe it's
How
hard for
hard is to get away from the label?
yeah, they
Okay.
can't. They're fucking stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the guy wanted to get away from the label. He was like, you know what? They're gonna drop me for this.
Probably.
Bam, he's free.
Probably.
He's a free
Probably.
man now. He can go do whatever the fuck he wanted. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he might have to deal with the law in Korea for the prostitution charge.
Yeah, that's kind of risky.
That I don't know, but he's away from the label. He can go be a movie actor, a model, whatever the fuck he
Sure.
wants to do now. He
Sure.
doesn't have to deal with this K-pop bullshit.
Sure. That's probably what the plan
So
is.
yeah, maybe it is.
It
So
could
why are
be.
we
I don't
sitting
know
here judging
why.
him?
I don't know why people can think like, oh, maybe he was thinking of an exit strategy. Like they say, he ruined his career. I don't know what's gonna
Doesn't
happen
right?
after.
Maybe doesn't mean the K-pop career is not.
The difference is that he hasn't abused anyone. She
Yeah,
was seemed to
exactly.
be the
It's
consenting adult.
consensual relationships. Money was exchanged, yes, but as I said, money exchange or money, taken out to the dinner. Sometimes dinner and date cost more than the money exchanged just for sex. It's like a man has to pay either way at the end of the day. Like it just doesn't happen for free. So it is what it is.
Admitted that if the payment claims were true, he had to go. Because defending dating scandals is one thing, defending illegal explicit work is another, of course. A handful of fans are still clinging on, either denying the allegations or pledging blind support. But for the most part, this was a career-ending scandal. Yes, the woman in question is a retired adult actress who hasn't been active since 2020. She's since pivoted into modeling, influencing, and even
I am a little interested why the lady would, prostitute herself out. We saw yesterday on the page, Xiwang T, she posted her profile. She has 2.5 million subscribers on Instagram.
Mm.
She should be okay making money, wouldn't have to
You
do
don't know
that.
that. You don't know her
I,
finances. A lot of times you see
yeah,
people on social media, you think they have it all. No,
I mean,
and
that's
doesn't mean
true.
they don't want more either, too.
That's true. It's just I kind of,
Also, it's
I
clout
didn't.
too. She gets
It's what?
clout.
Oh, true. She does get cloud if she wants to start OnlyFans.
singing, which great, good for her. Reinvention is real. No one's shaming her for her past, because frankly, her being an adult worker shouldn't have been an issue in itself, but that's the decoy. That's the smokescreen the fandom is fixating on while
Okay. You see the little thing she's wearing under? Did we see that was wearing this? And I was like, so Bar, if last week. Never mind.
ignoring
Off
the
topic.
flaming red flags waving around this entire chance encounter, because this isn't about what she used to do, it's about what she's allegedly still connected to, and more importantly, what Haknyeon might have done. This isn't about shaming, it's about legal implications. Selling explicit services is straight up illegal in both Japan and South Korea, period. Morality debates? Save those for Twitter threads. Legally it's a crime. And if Haknyeon was even tangentially involved in a pay-for-play situation, even if it was just socializing in some underground bar with a known adult industry figure, it's still illegal. If what's being whispered behind closed doors is
Socializing is illegal?
No, if it's like a pay for play situation, like, they're talking, but it's not like talking like innocent, like two people trying to get to know each other to
How
have
would
romantic
anybody know
situation.
about this though? That's my thing. Like, how do people
Where
know
it
about
sounds
this?
very straightforward transactional.
No, I get it, but why
Where
would people know that he paid her?
obviously there's someone with evidence. The wiring, where
Because
was because he has to send the funds.
she's not coming out saying this happened. Because if she was to come out, it would be like, oh, he
They
raped me.
probably
It
have a
wouldn't be.
receipt. There's probably a
I
receipt,
don't know.
invoice,
true.
something.
And this
Invoice.
actress
Prostitutes shoot invoices now.
Oh yeah, we're paperless.
also happens to be involved in paid explicit services business management, then we're not just talking poor judgment. We're talking about an idol being linked to someone potentially running an illegal operation. And when you're a public figure in a notoriously conservative image-obsessed industry where even implied scandal can nuke your entire career, I don't know what to tell you. You think 100 dropped him because of a hug and a drink? Be serious. If it was just dating, even with a retired AV actress, sure, the trolls would bark and
Yeah.
K-nets would clutch pearls for a week, but that storm would blow
Yeah,
over.
we've seen that before.
It
We've
does
seen
make
that
sense.
before.
Yesterday, we didn't know he paid in yesterday's reaction, so I kind of thought, oh, he should sue the label. But if he did, if he broke the law, that's kind of grounds for termination. So I don't think
That's on
there's,
you.
yeah, I don't think there's any, grounds to sue the label for this. I think the label did handle it properly, but I still don't think the guy did anything wrong.
He's not a rookie. The BOYZ debuted in 2017. That's 8 years in the game. A dating scandal might hurt a bit, but it wouldn't destroy him. Heck, he could have even pulled a redemption arc 6 months later with the right styling and a teary live stream. But when the company themselves swiftly confirms the loss of trust and terminates him while reports are swirling of potential solicitation, that's different. That's not disappointed idol boyfriend. That's damage control for an incoming legal trash storm. Whether or not this results in formal charges, the company's move screams we know something we can't say publicly yet, but we are not going down with him. And let's talk image, because y'all act like that doesn't matter in this industry. The BOYZ has a big young fan base, school-age girls, high schoolers, younger. This isn't a group built on bad boy energy. They're built on
I
fantasy.
just don't get like who would press charges. Like obviously the government, right? Why would anybody go to the government over this? Like why does anybody care what the fuck he paid somebody to? Why?
I mean, I would think that there's people like the sasangs, but not sasangs, or the TMZ,
The
or
haters?
there's
You said-
yeah, who are watching,
I get. But
because
how obsessed you gotta be to watch to report someone that on a
especially if this is like a betrayal, because this would be considered a betrayal to a sasang. If I saw
I
that,
just-
take a
I just-
picture, like, oh, you think he could do this? Oh, expose.
I don't get it. Like
Because
how
they
is
seem
it
like they're
anyone's
operating with some
business?
sort of this. I mean, it's becomes he's property of the company. Like
It's just like to
that's
me,
why.
the prostitution charges. It's like when you get caught in the act, the cops undercover sting, you get caught.
The fact
Not somebody knows that you did something. Oh, let me snitch
and
on
they
you.
have they
What?
probably have photos
That's
or
so weird.
someone has some sort of evidence. They showed it to the company and they say, "Oh, we can't have this because this is gonna look bad not just for him, but for everybody
But like,
else."
what evidence for that? Like, it's either has to be like
There's
text
obviously evidence.
of him saying, "Oh, I did
Yeah.
it," or a video of him actually like exchange
I would
money
lis-
exchanging hands.
Listen, there's times where the people are sitting right next to the idol on a flight. So what makes you think it's so hard to get evidence? It's not hard.
No, not
It's
only
not
money
hard.
exchanging hands, but there has to be two things: money exchanging hands and actually proof of sex happening. Because money exchanging hands
I
could be
think
whatever.
even just the exchange of money is enough.
Why?
It-
It doesn't mean they had sex. How we know they had
the
sex?
is the intent. Intent.
But how do you know he didn't pay her for a picture or for
Obviously, the
for
evidence-
old tape? No, what you're saying don't make no sense.
No, don't be delusional. Don't be
So
delusional.
you're saying if I go to a bar and give a girl money, that means I'm buying her services?
No. Obviously, you have to say what was in consideration for this money.
No, so that's what I'm
Where's
saying.
this
How they
money
know
for a
sex was
drink?
in consideration?
No, you have to be reasonable. What was the consideration for the money exchange? What was the purpose?
How do we know sex was the purpose?
Obviously, there's some sort of evidence that you don't know.
So I'm
that
saying
they're
there has to
covering
be
it
a
up.
tape.
There's something.
So there has to be a
obviously.
tape of them
I don't know why
having
you
sex,
fighting
I don't
for it. Like, bruh.
Boyfriend wholesomeness, having a member tied to someone with links to the adult industry, especially if there's a whiff of transactional interaction involved, isn't just bad optics. It detonates the brand they've spent years curating. And no, this isn't about demonizing the woman. She can live her best life, model, influence, do whatever. She's not on trial here. The problem is the narrative fans are spinning that this is
Right, why isn't she on trial? She should be, if he's getting charges pressed, she should get the charges the same way. It's illegal both sides, not just him.
Well, yeah, I think if it's illegal there also in Japan, I don't know if Japan is pursuing her, but I think it's, the states really choose if they want to
Yes,
pursue, who
and
they want to pursue.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody should really care about this, honestly. One off.
Well, the thing is, like, for example, two people are speeding, the officer pulled one and not the other. Officer, why didn't you pull the other one? No, I got you.
Yes, you're right about that.
is some poor idol getting punished for having a girlfriend.
It's just
when
your
in
luck.
reality we're looking at a potential violation of criminal law, cultural taboo, brand integrity and basic career intelligence all in one night out in Tokyo. At this point in his career, Haknyeon should have known better. He's not a fresh-faced rookie with no media training. He's a senior idol who's seen scandal after scandal wreck careers. How does a
Yeah,
decision like this
yeah,
make it through his brain
yeah.
without the alarms going off? You're internationally
Because he
famous
think he's
in
bigger than
Japan,
the
in public,
program.
with an adult entertainment figure who
I really don't think so. I don't think it was that at all. I don't think he thought he's infallible. I really don't think that. I think there could be many things, but him being infallible, I don't think it's
Infallible.
one infallible.
You said it wrong the first time.
Whatever, leave me alone.
I didn't slide, but you
Okay,
said it
ha,
again.
ha,
It's
ha.
like me being stupid.
Okay, very funny.
Mm-mm.
I really don't think he just thought, oh, he's invincible. I thought
Why you switch the word?
because apparently I don't know how to pronounce the animal correctly. Yeah, and I'm not soya, so I'm not gonna do it on purpose. But yeah, fuck me up. Yeah, I think there are many possible reasons why he did it. I just don't think one of them is just like, oh, he didn't care. That think, oh, I don't give a fuck. Nobody can touch me. I don't think that.
who may or may not be linked to illegal businesses, and you're drinking, hugging, cozying up like nobody's watching.
I
You knew
know.
people
I
were
feel
watching.
like
The only question is whether you were.
since we know this is the boys, we already saw like their casual attitude. Like, oh my earpiece fell. Get it?
Okay, you can judge one
I
guy based
know.
on the attitude
I
of them.
know,
That's
but
just not fair.
you can tell that they're really, really, really relaxed in what's going on. I don't
You mean
think.
stuck up? No.
No, not stuck up. Like really relaxed. Like
I think the guys with the headphones has
I just
nothing to
think
do with
they
this.
feel like, no, I'm not saying they have something to do with this, but you can kind of assess what is the vibes, what is the attitudes, like how do they carry themselves.
So you're saying what Sungri did reflects on G-Dragon?
Well, at first, people were questioning. I'm pretty sure that's why the guys were mad at each other because if my group mate is doing that, what the fuck it look like for me? That's why the label always cut pretty much the bad apple because you don't want that impression to influence the attitude of what people think of the other idols. Because they say birds of a feather flock together. So if one is doing this, I'm gonna question, are you two also involved? And plus, your group mates to have your back. Like, that's why they were so upset at Tail. They like, Tail, bro.
I would say, they flock together if it's a group of friends, but this is fucking work environment. They
don't show
together.
that. They
But
act like.
okay, but they put together. They're not friends. They're just colleagues.
But
like
as
you
a
work with what you
watcher-
assigned to work. They don't have a say.
No, but as a watcher, you have this kind of relationship that you understand. This is like a family.
Okay, but you understand that this is just a colleague. So I'm talking from your perspective.
From my
Yes.
perspective,
I'm not
I'm
saying
talking.
what the
I'm
stats
talking.
thing.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't give a
talking.
fuck with
Okay,
that thing.
I see it from my perspective. I'm not gonna judge the others. But now that another member from the boys is doing something,
Overall, the boys
it's
have
like-
a lot of shit in the
it's
past
like,
couple of weeks.
damn, no one is.
Yeah.
Where's the leader? Where's the leader to say
I-
what the hell you're
I
doing?
think he may have been the leader.
Oh hell.
I think
That's awful.
I think he was like the most popular member. I don't know if he's the leader, but I think he was the most popular member of the group.
So you definitely gonna have people watching
I
everything.
think this group
every
is
movie
finny.
Oh.
Were arrogant enough to think it wouldn't get out or dumb enough to think it wouldn't matter. And let's stop pretending that K-pop agencies make these decisions lightly. You think they just woke up and chose violence against their own cash cow for no reason? No, they saw the
Yes,
photos, they heard
exactly.
the whispers, they ran it
they
past
saw
their lawyers,
something.
and they yeeted him out before the headlines could drag the entire group down with him. That's not
Yeah.
overreaction, that's self-preservation. So no, it's not about dating an adult film star. It's about a high-profile male idol getting caught up in a legally and socially loaded situation with a woman whose present-day business
Because
associations
imagine
bring way too
with
much heat to it.
Tail, he had the image. He's the angel. Like I would say the angel of the group. Like he had the sweet factor about him.
I don't know.
But then he
we
turned out to
started
be.
people going back and looking that he was a little weird. So
Oh, now when they look back,
in
but
hindsight,
in the
yeah.
beginning,
Conservative image-based industry. And when you mix
Same
pain,
with Sungri
criminal
too.
law and cultural norms in a society like Korea's, it doesn't matter how progressive your Twitter thread is, your idol career is toast. Haknyeon hopped on Instagram with what can only be described as a last-minute PR scramble dressed up as an apology. Yeah, he admitted to being at that club. But he swore up and down there were no paid services involved. The whole thing reeked of damage control, not regret. He's deeply reflecting and didn't mean to betray anyone's trust. But let's be real, the second he got booted from the boys, that apology
I
started.
would love to see what the proof is for this. That like we sufficiently can say it happened. Because to me, the proof.
it got to be a leak.
It-
The leak is gonna leak it. The company received it. They paid whoever gave it to them the
I don't
amount
know,
that was okay,
it's-
and it was
the
done.
proof for something like this has to be overwhelming. I don't know how. As I said, there has to be a camera in the room that captures money
Who-
being exchanged,
yeah.
them having sex.
But whoever captured it, they first went to the company and said, "We got this."
You think
what you
someone?
gonna
So
do?
okay, do you think
Pay
someone
up?
set him up?
It doesn't matter. He fell for it.
Because maybe somebody set him up, put cameras in the room. I don't know.
That's not the person who captured it problem. It's the
Oh,
company's
of
problem.
course it's the company's problem. I'm just saying, like, how do you even get to me? It's like,
Because
how do we get this proof?
remember they you know the when someone captures such a bad moment like this, they take it to the company first and say we're
I
not
mean, I
expose this to
get
the
it. They want the
public.
money.
So they got the money.
I
It
get
was a
it.
good amount of money.
They want to
They
pay
got
off.
paid.
Started reading like a soggy Hail Mary tossed from a ship that already hit the iceberg. Online reactions are all over the place. Some people crying foul, others screaming he's an adult, and the rest just eating popcorn. Meanwhile, the remaining members put out their own sorry not sorry statements. More formality than emotion.
I mean, the remaining members have nothing to do with this. They shouldn't be sorry for anything. That has nothing to do with
They
them.
want to say that they don't condone this behavior.
Yeah,
They say
basically,
not me.
yeah, like
Bye-bye.
that's what they have to say. Not like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like, what did
And
they
they
do?
gotta
Nothing.
they gotta unfollow, disassociate,
Yeah,
everything. You know the deal. You know the
you know the
routine.
drill. Yeah.
Trying to mop up the mess and hold on to what's left of the fanbase. Overall, the boys haven't suddenly become problematic. They've always had mess brewing. But, back when they were under IST Entertainment, the scandals were getting silenced behind the scenes with hush money and cozy deals with Sasaengs and fan sites. Their previous label had their little black book of arrangements. Keep the fans close, the stalkers closer and the media muzzled. But the second the boys jumped ship to 100, a company that clearly doesn't coddle or cover for idols, all chaos broke loose. Scandals that used to get swept under the rug are now spilling out like roaches under fluorescent light, because the same Sasaengs and fan accounts that used to get perks and protection are now bitter and vengeful. And they're the ones leaking all this dirt. Korean fans, who make up the group's core fanbase and benefited the most under IST's manipulative ecosystem, are now pissed that they no longer have the same access or privilege. So they're turning on them. But more on that in my next video.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting video. She gave a good in-depth explanation of the situation.
So do you still think he went out from the group?
Possibly. We don't know that. We can't just sit here and say that.
I don't know.
Why not?
I really think he messed up. He really messed up.
He could have messed up,
really messed
but
up.
honestly, this to me, this is like a very good way out. If you want it out of
That's
the
true.
group, this is
But
a blueprint
I don't know,
how you
just
get out
jail
of the group.
time too. And you kind of lose your fans. 'Cause remember,
Right,
they're
but if
fans.
you don't care about fans, if you just want out, you're tired, you mentally just not there. You've like fuck
Mm.
this is too overwhelming, and this is a perfect way out without no new jeans versus Ador bullshit.
Okay. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.